Hey guys, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Hollabec. Today I'm going to show you how to make this super creepy mask. This was my last minute Halloween costume. I didn't do any shopping, planning, anything because why would I? There's nothing going on. But it still felt wrong not to have any costume lined up. So here's the process of me creating myself a costume. So in my mind, the easiest thing to do was to make a mask. And I was trying to think of all of the ways that I could make a mask where it wouldn't look too terribly cheap, but I still had all of the stuff that I needed here at home, so I didn't have to go to the store and buy it because screw that. And then suddenly it came to mind, paper mache. I have not done paper mache since middle school, so I had to look up a recipe for the glue. But before I did all that, I had to take a mold of my face first, and I figured the easiest way to do that would be to get some aluminum foil and essentially mash it into all of my face crevices. And watching this back, I realized just how terrifying it looks, so I apologize. Once I had my face mold in place, then I had to mix up the glue, which I always remember it being thicker as a kid, so I must have found a weird recipe, but it seemed to have worked. So it was 1 part flour to 5 parts water. So I just did 1/3 cups and it was more than enough. So next I just had to tear up some paper. So I had some newspaper quality paper that I just happened to have in my art supply. I had that, but we didn't have newspaper, so use what you got. I then had to painstakingly soak each piece and lay it over my mold. And I laid it over and over and over and over, trying to get at least a decent thickness so I could trust it on my face without it disintegrating. And I feel like it took forever and it was so messy, but eventually I got it and I set it off to the side to dry. And at this point, I guess I didn't remember just how long it took paper mache to dry. And for whatever reason, I was thinking that if I were to leave it overnight, it would have been fine. But it was not fine. So eventually I had to take a hairdryer to it at its highest setting, and that seemed to do the trick. It actually dried it pretty quickly. So if you're pressed for time and you want to do this, just keep that in mind. Just use a hairdryer. So my mask was dry, and at this point I wanted to kind of trim around it because I had a lot of random little corners and pieces sticking off the edges. So I just took a pair of scissors and they trimmed off fairly easy. And then once it was all trimmed, I decided to paint it black. So I used acrylic paint because I figured that would be the quickest to dry. And I assumed it wouldn't, I guess, disintegrate or break down the paper mache, which it didn't, which was nice. So I let that dry, and at this point my mask was pretty much done. But I wanted to add a few other details, and then I also had to add the elastic on the back so it would actually stay on my face. So I figured I wanted to do like stitching over the eyes and the mouth. So I used a really thick, actually kind of creepy looking thread that I got from Dollar Tree a long time ago. And then using a yarn needle, which is important because it's got a bigger eye so you can actually get the yarn through it. And I started sewing it through the eyes. And I did have to pre-make the holes because the yarn was so big, which literally just involved me taking a pair of scissors and kind of grinding it until it broke through. That sounds really weird. So I sewed X's over each eye, and then using that same technique, I stitched along the mouth, and I thought it made it look so creepy. So then the last step at that point was to add the elastic. So once again, I had to pre-make the holes, and I brought the elastic through, tied it in place, and because the elastic I was using was really stretchy, I just used enough elastic that stretched across the width of the mask, and that was more than enough. It holds it securely to my face. And that was it, guys, and my mask was done. So at that point then, I just had to pick out an outfit to go with it, and I wanted to have kind of a punk vibe. So I threw my hair up into high pigtails. I put on my most punk sweater and a skater skirt, as well as some knee-high socks and my buckle boots. And I thought this looked equal parts cute and equal parts absolutely freaking terrifying. This mask turned out so creepy. It actually kind of scares me a little bit. But anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. And hopefully it gave you some ideas for maybe throwing together your own last minute costume. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up. I love seeing those. They make me so happy. If you are not already, please subscribe to my channel. I have a big goal to hit by the end of the year. I got like 2 months left, and I know you guys won't let me down. I know you won't. And that being said, guys, I will see you the next time around.